And then, hello there. Come here often. We're back in this space. Hopefully we're not going to be arguing with this thing for weeks and days and months and centuries and years. I just got the cyan thing, spider gang, tidying up this thing. Hopefully the bots won't get too stuck. But once the majority of the crap from the previous iteration of this is cleaned up, still need to do a little bit here, and once the supply component kicks into gear, shouldn't need to pay too much attention to these. What I do want to do is fix that monstrosity. I might need to, speaking of fixing monstrosities, that legitimately run out? Huh. Okay then. Huh. In the time that was spent faffing about, that's completely finished. I also, just before while we were starting, I marked these for replacement, so they look like that now. The very helpful railway spiders shall do that. While I go stare blankly at this train and wonder why it's not doing anything. Resting? Yes, I think. Yes. Things. And it's enabled? Why is that train not going? And T greater than 0. Oh, there's a... No? I was going to say, there's a wire broken, but no. Why aren't you going? Time has expired. T should be greater than 0. Am I being dumb? Am I missing something? No? I mean, it can run away. That's fine. I might need to poke it with a stick. I suspect. What? Okay. I was just wondering... Wait, what? What is going on? I'm asking that question because it didn't pick up the oh, is the thing is... Tears on the radio stations. It should be... Hey, Yuvie, Yuvington. Yeah, the red wire should go... or it should pick up the... One of these should feed the T through. Somewhere, somehow. I don't actually remember how. But it should actually receive a T signal. It is possible it again has an old version that is preventing it from working. How you doing, Yuvie? Also? Well, my brain just trails off. Just long pause. Oh dear. It feels like that this week. It's another one of those weeks this week. I got to get stuff. So, avoiding work is what I'm doing. I wish I could do that, but I can't. I got to go. Effectively, interstate next week, so I won't be around. For work. I won't. Unfortunately, I can't avoid it. That's why I won't be around. Okay. Even noticed these weren't done. I don't know why I'm building this crap, because I'm going to tear it down anyway, because I'm going to redo all these so that they're slightly less terrible. It seems like a good idea. I mean, I'm committed now. Apparently I'm committed to it. Alright, let's go do something more useful in terms of making the spiders do something useful. Speaking of spiders doing stuff that's useful. Can grab all that? Yes, yes you are. Excellent. Alright, and you're going to go up there and do stuff and things. thing you can. Yeah, the thing I was leading into, and then I got so super distracted, is that there's also a fairly significant thing that needs to be done by the end of the week. Like, and there's basically I have to throw as much time at it as possible to make sure it gets done, which means it's potentially, if not going to be, a very long week. Which is also not going to be fun. Oops, that's completely the wrong thingy. Alright, let's get rid of all this. I'm not gonna bother sorting out the thingies. Let's demolish that. Demolish that. Where's that? Oh, the Spidey pants are in range of the Robo Network. They're getting all excited now. I mean, it doesn't hurt. There is a trash train that will come around and... Oh, that's going to make a horrendous mess. Oh, boy. Oh, too late. I mean, it would if it was plugged in. Fortunately, it's not plugged in, so it won't. Now it's plugged in again. Let's try not to be dumb about it this time. Yep, it's on its way. Excellent, excellent. These are getting built. Doing its thing. It's just going to slowly build up on its own time now. We'll leave all three of these to do its thing. It looks like that disappears. The old ghost disappeared, so that's good. Need to move this track as well. Because, according to the circuits, if it goes there, yeah, I need to expand up a little bit. So probably to about there would be nice. Which means you're going to need, not though, blue, yeah, there's blue spiders. Blue spiders have our landfill in them. And so we can make a start on that. And where am I? I'm here. Okay. Will I get hit by a train is the real question. No, it's still a little bit further down. There is potential, though. Speaking of being hit by a train or not being hit by a train, does Veldak have the clip of Thieficat? That is something remarkable right there. That was. I legitimately didn't think there was enough room to do what he did. But somehow managed to dodge it. It was on a piece of track where, like, it was landfill and nothing but, there it is. Nothing but landfill. And, like this. Yeah, see a little bit of track here. And right through the landfill. Also that reaction. Or is it? There. Look at that! How? It shouldn't be possible. Oh dear. Yeah. So apparently, at some point, the hitboxes have been tweaked such that that is possible. So I'm fairly certain, fairly confident that that never used to be possible. Either that, or I'm just imagining things and gone insane and drunk and high on eucalyptus oil or something. Because yeah, that shouldn't. Either that or it's just lucky. You should die when you start relying on it. It's got to be pixel perfect. Fact. Um. it? It's collision rectangle. Ah, it's actually quite small. Yeah, so the collision rectangles, this here, is what actually... So if I turn that off... Oh, it actually doesn't matter. It's, you can actually see what you will collide with in terms of... Oh, yeah, they're all marked for decon. So this is my collision rectangle. If I turn my legs off, see how... That's yeah, for those that don't know, that's what stops you physically... describes what the obstacles are in the game. So yeah, if I try and walk into there, these rectangles won't let my rectangle go through. Yeah, he ducked out of the way just in time, but also wasn't killed at the same time, which is impressive. Now, let me look at you. See, there's the rail collision boxes, and there's the train collision boxes. Let's find a vertical one. It's like this box is what determines you getting splattered, splatificated. Oh yeah, for multiplayer it definitely would have been splatterated. Where is... Trying to think of where I've got a equivalent vertical section. Oh, any kind of pretty much any kind of latency outside of LAN is probably not enough. It's funny, I keep looking for an equivalent and then I get distracted and just start mining trees. That is the way. Speaking of distractions, let's find another distraction here. Empty that robot's inventory. Oh yeah. Collision rectangles. Beautiful things, aren't they? Fortunately, it's not complete, because I think this is like sprite rectangles as well. It's a render rectangles. Yeah, it's fairly self-evident what that does. My inventory. Oh yeah, also, while I think of it, so the pretzel channel stations has rotated again, and I happen to see this station called VHS. And it says, "Be kind and rewind to sounds inspired by the 80s." And the first track definitely was not inspired by the 80s. I don't think you actually heard that one, because I started it before actually starting. If it was the sound of a videotape format, it was more like the sound of a beta chord or something. It was very 90s. It actually sounded like one of those German... what was the thing called? Movie. There was this... This is a story in of itself, is that I managed to buy these... I once managed to buy these videotapes of music videos from Germany that were branded Movie. It was like this thing that was played as background music in like nightclubs and things. And the music on it is very 90s German. 110% German 90s music. Very, that sort of techno club stuff. But yeah, it sounded, the track sounded like that. It did not sound 80s. Music videos on VHS? What a novel idea, isn't it? It actually leads into even more misadventures in second-hand record stores, because it gets worse. I have I have a few At least one laser disc. I think, what else do I have? Yeah, no, 2 laser discs. Another one is also German. Because it has that song, oh, what was it? There's the thing, um, it's that German cartoon with the mouse and the elephant. Hier kommt die Maus. And then, Tucker Bear comes in and tries to strangle me for trying to do German badly again. But yeah, that's there on Laserdisc as well, somewhere.
Den Bogen raus, meine Damen und Herren. Hier kommt die Maus.
I have a CED somewhere. Apparently, like, I didn't even know CED was a thing here, but apparently it's at least some were sold here. Music for shows from TV to VHS in the 90s. That was sort of a tradition around here because we had the show. It's still going. It's been going for over 25 years now. It's called a show called Rage, and it is as utilitarian as a music video show could possibly be. It was originally filler for keeping. So up until this point in the late 80s, all the TV stations went off air at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, and part of the station, the ABC here, going 24 hours was to put this show Rage on Saturday night, Sunday morning. And so when the station would normally close, they would put Rage on instead. And so from 11:30 to like 10 o'clock the next morning, Friday nights, it like, and because it's also a public, ABC is a public broadcaster, there's no ads or anything, so it is just straight music videos for the entire time. And they don't do like, well, it depends, because the different shows are done differently. But like, for the Friday night to Saturday morning, it's just music videos. Like, there's nothing else. There's no hosts, there's no interludes or anything like that. Well, they have a show interlude that they play occasionally, but that's it. And then the Saturday night into Sunday morning, which is usually 11:30 to 6, 7 a.m., they'll either do some kind of themed show, or they'll do some kind of guest programmer where, hey, operator, how you doing? We're talking about Rage. I'm explaining Rage to people who don't know what Rage is. Yeah, so the Saturday night is the good one, because is the better one, because it's the guest programmer or some kind of themed special.
Hi, I'm Rick Astley, and this evening I'm going to be playing some of my favourite songs on Rage.
So when one that's typically always on is the Mardi Gras special every year. Sometimes they'll just do random things like watch Raging Forever. One that I remember seeing was songs with colours in the name. Just completely arbitrary, but it's hilarious. And so you just get all these songs where they just have a colour in the name. I should dig up the playlist for that. I want to dig up the playlist for that now, because it was interesting. The other thing with Rage is because it's in overnight, there is pretty much... Ooh, lurk it up. Have a good time. There's pretty much nothing is off limits. So, between the midnight to 6 a.m., or I think it is, they can basically play anything as long as it meets the minimum standards for broadcast. So, if it's there, they'll play it uncut. Which is always a bit hilarious to whenever there's... so the guest programs are always bands or people from bands, going back to the guest programmer thing. And that part becomes quite interesting, because you get someone from like the US where they're not used to the idea of the show being a complete free for all, and so or one thing in particular, is a meme going back a long ways, is Aphex Twin's window licker, because that's particularly edgy for, like, that's way beyond the limit of what's allowed over there. But here it's just like, oh, that's just every third Sunday of the month because everyone requests the damn thing, thinking it's like really out there and crazy, but it's it's like nothing compared to some of the other stuff they played. That can be played. So yeah, that's pretty much the oh, beautiful. I'm gonna turn that off. I don't think I'm ever gonna get to it. I'm gonna be constantly distracted. What I should do is actually build this thingamajigger here, because then I can make use of the trash. Assuming the bots are capable of such thing. I mean, I can make them capable simply by placing that down. Now, do it. Ah, hi bots and hi bots. Stand right there so those two bots can get the job done. Unfortunately, this place isn't going to see a train in quite a while. The downside to this system is that it won't the supply train won't hop through each step, or at least the way I programmed it. I might change it so that it's each factory node. That way, there's more chance of it actually doing its thing. That appears to be completely packed down. Excellent. You get out of there. Where are you at now? You're up there. Pockets, sort of. I think these spiders can actually build the machines that are missing, like the central machines that are missing, because they're technically not being requested by the supply bases that build these. Excellent. Going back to the thing, I was actually thinking earlier today, going back to the thing that I need to do by Friday, I had this random thought that I should potentially stream what I'm doing, but at the same time, I gotta try and, like, if I do stream it, then there are certain details that need to be obscured or hidden, and that complicates things. Otherwise, I would actually do more of what I do, or even any of what I do. It's a problem with streaming work is that if it's under an NDA, you can't really show it off. Problematic. Again, this does not sound very 80s at all. You're lied to. VOD Squad won't know what I'm talking about because it's not saved in the VOD, or it's not supposed to be saved in the VOD. Late 80s? It's still a little too... It's more getting into that 90s dance, you know, that 94, 95 dance stage phase with the drum cymbals. or the bass, the kick and the cymbals sort of thing. It's not quite there. I suppose it could be that intermediate period when the post-sword period. Hmm, maybe. Because there were some very late 80s, 88, 89, which did do that sort of thing, but the only ones I can think of still had that classic keys going on. The basic keyboard thing. Synth keys, that's what I'm trying to say. I has our words good. Ooh, I'll get drummed. Get drummed. Do you know why? That's because Spellmaster isn't here. You know why? Because the bot didn't bot. And I said this at the very beginning, is that it's Schrodinger's stream bot. Is that if I don't say anything, the bot won't say anything. But if I do say something, the bot will say something. It's so hard to find good help these days, isn't it? Actually thinking about the music, it's what am I trying to say? There is like more variety than what you normally think of. It's just that stuff like Saw, stock Aiken Waterman, for those who are wondering what Saw is, was so dominant that it's hard to notice anything else. Yes, for those who don't know, they were responsible for that distinct that. So they did. Well, they did Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up" and a lot of other Rick Astley songs, but they did that particular synth sound, and it was used everywhere. Bananarama as well. Pretty much all their songs use it. I'm drawing a blank as to others, but yeah, there was just a lot. It was just that prevalent. My bots. Oh, there they are. Trying to keep up, please. Hello, uranium patch. Now, most important of all, can't forget to collect the fishies. Yeah, no, that's definitely getting into 2000s. Oh, what was it? I can sort of hear the song in my head, but I can't think of who it was. It was another one of those fancy ones. Well, reminded me of that. I'm gonna have to look it up now. If I'm feeling extra enthusiastic, I could insert it, but I'm probably not going to. Okay, bots, do what you do. Spider bots, do what you do best. Tend to mine up the fish, so we can't add to the fish counter because you don't mind the stupid things. Lazy spider. A little bit higher. About there, we'll say. Maybe a little bit more to be consistent with that. Like that. It's tempting to actually move the entire thing right the way up to there. Okay. Up into the darkness. Grab an even bigger chunk. Like that. Yeah. Tiles and no entities. the laggy scrolling because because the sheer volume of it. Ah, look at that. Because it's in the void, of course. Oops. Don't want that. A lot coming up here. You're not empty out on track, you are. Okay then. Back home you go then. Cloud, how you doing? Want to farm more? Doing the old farm frame? They're doing a new Prime access, I believe. Not Prime access, Prime Vault. What I saw recently. Wisps, oh dear. Uh, and here it is. I remember when the first Wisp that came out. It's crazy. I remember. It's actually weird to have even Equinox Equinox Prime go into the vault. That coming around the first time as well. I don't think any of them have been able to top. None of the Prime accesses have been able to top Mesa Prime. The the game servers pretty much fell over for an entire week. I made so much blat selling parts. And it's also something that I do and don't regret doing. I haven't actually done anything since Cora Prime. I still haven't got Cora Prime. I don't even think. Do I have Octavia? Yeah, I do it. No, I don't. I don't remember if I even have Octavia Prime. Just can't be bothered anymore. Right, let's pre-deploy some of these bad boys. Oh, actually, they might not even exist anymore. Hey, it's a Sifa. How you doing? You doing? Feeling a little thinner? Just the weight loss program's really paying off. Oh, that was amazing. That was. Why was that even open? I'll give you one hint. Probably don't even need one. Probably don't even need a hint beyond that. I was like, oh, that's my boss. Yeah. Yep, it's Veldank. Yeah, I was like, I'd completely forgotten that the biter juices was a thing, and that yeah, most of these biters don't exist anymore. So I deployed these for nothing. I mean, I am slightly disappointed I didn't get to kill any biters. But I am also happy that I don't... Oh, there you go. There's a few biters still here. It's not all for nothing. It's a gun with an 800 ammo magazine. So what is this incarnations thing? It actually sounds a bit like they've gone a bit... Or full Destiny 2 with the FOMO stuff. I mean, admittedly, the... Wolf of Saturn 6, whatever it is, was very much a FOMO thing. If you weren't there for the Wolf Showdown the first time, you kind of screwed on getting a Wolf Sledge. Oh, just like, oh, okay, they're just rotating. I mean, even then, Destiny 2, they do sunset gear eventually. I can't believe how many times I ran that Wolf Showdown and never got more than one blueprint. I did that more than 60 times. Which is a lot of times. Not that I was ever going to do anything with a second Wolf Sledge. I always have these aspirations of selling things for platinum, and I never do. The only probably the only regret that I have now is not getting more charged. Is it charge chamber or prime chamber? One of those. I bought like, I mean, in saying that, I bought like 10 or 12 of them. And then I was selling them for like the rest of the day, 50 plat underneath the offer rate. And like when I list it, I just get like absolutely inundated with messages from people asking for it. Like I'd say put the thing in the message board, and then just like 30 messages just would immediately pop up. Oh, it was nuts. Okay. Let's get these bots back on track. Spider bots back on track. Spidertrons back on track even. Not to be confused with Breakfast Club, who are also right on track. Reload how to use the market. Unless they've changed the market, I wouldn't use it. It just DMing, like just posting public instant messages and then DMing people is just a crappy way to do things. That's really 2006. Bit of arcane, a slight discount. The other problem for me is that doing trading is just a massive chore because I usually have to switch to the US or European region because nobody in the Asia Pacific is generally buying. It's all the mega traders, the ones that are selling, like god tier, quote unquote god tier Rivens. It's actually the one thing I've never really been able to sell is Rivens. I eventually decided that Rivens are a terrible idea to trade. That was my one rule, was never trade Rivens. Unveil what, yeah, that's it. You just unveil what you're going. If you can't use it, grind it. Instantly grind into a reroll. Ooh, a Baza. Baza Prime was a surprisingly strong weapon. Crit chance, normal, negative, no negative. Ooh. Even without a ribbon, it's yeah, and it's a silent weapon, which is surprisingly strong. I think it has a very high base crit chance from memory. I don't recall for sure. It's one that it's one of those ones that I've always known as good, but I just never use. It's actually another one. Speaking of, that's another thing that keeps me playing the game now is that the what do they call the second tier of sorties, the once a week thing, from the thingy when they introduced the drifter and the yeah, that stuff. Yeah, that stuff. Archons, that's it. It's too much work, those. And none of my stuff is really super strong to really take them down in any way efficiently. I've done a few, but they were just too much of a pain. They're empty already. It doesn't surprise me. Nearly empty. Spring and Naros. Yeah, that's generally what I do. Naros or Cora, although the Cora isn't nearly as broken as it used to be. I miss the negative 2 billion Cora. Didn't even have to try. Probably the one thing that did sort of sour the game for me overall was they would. So back when they were tinkering with, um, oh yeah, back when they were tinkering with what's it called? The one that does the stacking crit chance, um, silver. Yeah. Oh wow, that's surprising amount of track lag. I should have known that was coming. I'm drawing a blank. I just can't think of it. I can picture it. It's the crit chance per melee combo multiplier. Um, they pushed out like at least like a dozen patches, little micro patches to tweak it. And then it's at one point, these were all undocumented as well. Oh, it's just the oh, best it's from. It's the one, yeah. It's just it's the melee mod that stacks crit chance with a melee combo multiplier. Um, yeah, they were doing a ton of tweaks to it in the background, and then they eventually broke the combo not or the effects not decaying with the combo multiplier, and then it would keep stacking again uh, when you bring the combo up again. Oh, what the hell was it called? Oh, Gladiator Might was the other one. See, now I have to look it up. Um, yeah, I mean, Gladiator Might is also good when you the Weeping Wounds is a um another really good mod. It's a very underrated mod. Yeah, you know what I mean though. Blood Rush, that's it. And it used to be, what was it, 60% crit chance per combo multiplier. And now it's only 40. Yeah, I think there was another one as well as Weeping Wounds. I used to use Weeping Wounds with, this was back in like 2018, 2019. Everyone was like pure crit or pure status spam. And I was doing this with Blood Rush with the Weeping Wounds, and I was getting way more. Another one though. I don't want to look up now though. Yeah, and the combination of damage output was ridiculous. Speaking of the Wolf Showdown, I remember one of the randoms that I was with. I was started trying to see just how much compared with the armor stripping. I wanted to see how much damage I could get it up to, and so we were trading, comparing armor stripping with crit combinations because the Wolf had this. It was like totally. This is another thing too with pure status weapons is that they were introducing enemies like the Wolf, and actually there was quite a few others even at the time, where they were basically immune to status effects, which is, I mean, fundamentally the game damage system is just broken. The fact that they're introducing status immunity, so you just got to get inventive with ways to work around it. Yeah, and so if you have high hit damage, so what I mean by a status stick, these are all things that no one probably makes any sense of. So what you would do is you'd have a melee weapon which has a very high hit rate, so something which you can swing potentially multiple, have multiple anywhere up to 14 hits per second. So whack, 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 whack in rapid succession, and then you would have a high chance to apply a status effect. And then you'd have things that are stacked on top of that. And so the effect is you would just spam status effects onto the enemy, and you'd have spamming combinations of status effects, and you could do a lot of damage. The problem is that damage goes down to 0 if there's status immunity or status damage limits or anything of that nature. But the crit weapons, however, and because there's actually another thing that's not very well understood because the damage system is just broken and convoluted and stupid, is that as well as active status effects, and a status effect is like applying bleed or some kind of elemental damage, there is also status weaknesses. So if you apply a strong damage, how does this work? I'm trying to think how it works. It's kind of weird. If you apply, if you have a weapon which has a status damage, it still applies that status damage even though it doesn't apply the effective, the actual active status effect. Yeah, it's like the status damage and then there's a status effect. So there's like the effect is like the bleed, but the slash, if they're still weak to slash, it does more damage anyway. And then if you have, say, cold, and they're weak to cold, it still does that cold damage has a bonus damage on top of the chance to do an active cold effect at the same time. Did I mention that this is horrendously convoluted and broken? Yeah, it does damage, but no freeze in the case of cold. And that's the thing that's not very well understood. Again, because the damage system is just horrendously convoluted and overcomplicated. Okay, go there. Yes, you are. I really don't want to, but I'm gonna have to set up another stone outpost to mine stuff. Uh, yeah, big boom. The Tron incarnation. I've never been able to get up behind the whole Tron situation. It's been even like the super duper old players absolutely swear by it, but I've never really been able to see. I've never been able to see its advantage. It's probably because it's one of those. Oops, wrong one. It's one of those weapons that has a weird, like it doesn't feel. You know, in a shooter game, the gun needs to have a certain feel to it for it to sort of gel, jive, whatever. And it's one of those guns that just doesn't feel nice to use. I think the best example is a game like Doom, where every weapon is reasonably well tuned to actually feel nice to use. Or yes, you are. It's just Distractoed. Speaking of Distractoed, seat and keyboard is the thing between the seat and the keyboard is super Distractoed. Okay, I imagine it's just got broken stats. There's another one. There's like there's a pistol, the Viper, the single Viper, not even the dual one. It apparently is really popular as well because there's like this really, really, really ancient, like 2014 ancient build that doesn't work anymore. That people still like because all the guides are written for it. Everyone copies it. And so everyone still uses it. Despair incarnation. Incarnate. I actually could have used that. I have a meme slot. What is it? A build slot. Which is Necros Prime. Hate, Despair, and Dread. I was trying to remember what I put for the primary, but I'm pretty sure it's still Dread. I mean, I do have a Despair. Is it the melee one's Despair, isn't it? Yeah. And because I have a Despair Riven that makes it. It's not amazing, but it certainly makes it better than average. And it basically carries the build. Like the Dread and the Despair's the throne. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Hate is the Riven that I have. Oh, I kept saying Despair. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, Despair is the. So there's this. Should back up. This is another meme in and of itself. It just keeps on going. So there's this Shadow Stalker. Whenever you kill a boss, you get marked for death by the Shadow Stalker. And so at some random point during the game, and this stacks with each. So the amount of Shadow Stalker encounters is incremented by one for each boss time you kill a boss. And when the Shadow Stalker shows up is completely random. Slow projectile weapon, hard to charge. Oh, yeah, of course. So every time you kill a boss, there's this adversary that will appear randomly, and it could be the next time you enter a match, or it could be 6 months' time. Like, it is completely random. Or if in the case that I've had several times is that if you have like a million stacked up, you end up getting one for every session for an entire hour. Something like along those lines. It's it is the epitome of randomness. And yeah, every time you kill this wasp, thank you for that follow. Welcome. We're talking about a different game entirely called Warframe. There is a small chance for the Shadow Stalker to drop 3 weapons. and Despair has the least chance of all of them, and it's like 2% or something. It's like Dread's like 10%, Hate is like 5%, and then Despair is like 2%. Dread is a bow, Hate is a melee scythe, and Despair is a set of throwing daggers. Do not know how the Stalker triggers. It's basically you need to have at least one be marked for death in your profile stats. Yeah, you show up a lot. And the counter goes up every time you kill a boss, as I say before. And the trigger is between the game time at 1 minute 30 to 5 minutes, I think it was, or 4 minutes 30. Likes to show up. It surprisingly likes to do that. But yeah, it never shows up before like the 1 minute 30 mark. I don't remember the exact number now. I used to have all these numbers pretty much memorized. The game has a lot of anti speedrunning stuff going on in it. So finishing it kind of the game low key punishes you if you finish a level too quickly. What train madness is this? The PoE is complex. Reminds you of another game where I tried to build as many different damage types as possible and was just been acting lightning damage. It's such a. I hate to say it, it's such a waste of time. That's my experience. Is it's just a waste of time. Dear. Oh, I can't really pick up those. Right there. I think it's time to tap out these spiders. And play default. I mean, that is a good. I mean, I'd go for that. I mean, the main thing for me is that there's no one else to really play with anymore. Um, the the region's dead. Everyone, because everyone's on Discord now, you tend to, if you do get into a group of randoms, 99% of the time, it's three dumbasses all being dumbasses on Discord. Hey, Veldek's back. And so they'll just start memeing and trolling you most of the time. You can have that. Yeah, it's not as great as it used to be. It also doesn't help that it's very the entire structure of the multiplayer is very old-fashioned thinking. It's very I mean, the game was they originally announced it in like 2001. And so the multiplayer the mentality of the multiplayer interaction is very early 2000s, mid 2000s. So you're sort of expected to chat. Everything's hard. Group of randoms, you join already friends together on Discord, simply forget to close it to newcomers. Yeah, that too. That's something I found a lot. I've also alluded to, because the Asia-Pacific region encompasses a lot of countries, people from certain countries don't like to hang out with people from other countries. It's, blame Wes. Kind of like the pity system they have, the mission time is too long compared to, say, even Equinox. Can't see that chat. Is the pity thing a new thing? Yeah, we're actually talking about Warframe. Don't you understand language? What do you get? Oh yeah, um, because they can't Unicode. It's actually interesting because I'm pretty sure the Unicode used to work. Run the mission to get the parts. The Europe server where you're trying to speak English while the French and Russians refuse. Classic French. Trying to speak Russian. Not even the French wants to speak French. And they're too proud to use English. So they'll speak Russian. So they'll only speak Russian. Lucifer appears. And the Colonel Will appears too. Hello. Yeah, it's a bit of a stacker. I've been taking your idea of the stacker and the bidirectional base, and I've been developing it, shall we say. Icarus, how you doing? Prime. Yeah, much for that. Says so the 11 hype for Icarus there. Hang on, no, it's I crave ice cream. I got it completely ass backwards. Thank you very much for the prime. 12 months, 1 year, almost 1 year. 1/12 of a year. 12/12ths of a year? One of those. Exclamation of love, exclamation of hype in chat. For some reason I see it and it's like Icarus, but it's not even close. it's definitely I crave ice cream. It took it past its limits. Yeah, I was kind of curious to see where it would go. Do you need to pick up and move the far left stacker too? Yes, that's the old one. Am I an engineer? I pretend to be. Hey, the bots are free. It's just somebody in the Factorio and Twitch community as long as it exists. Aren't we all? Ah, it's an anagram. Is that a crime? Only if you're a civil engineer. Which is actually kind of funny because a civil engineer does the least work out of any well, actually they don't. Civil engineers do actually do a lot of work. But the joke is that civil engineers don't actually do that much because it's all balancing concrete and I-beam. If there's too much concrete and not enough I-beam, you need to add I-beam. Yeah, because it's civil engineering. It is legit. It is a legitimate crime in most countries. In all seriousness, but yeah. And then if there's not enough concrete and too much I-beam, you need to add more concrete. Trying to dodge trains. I remember when Exterminator kept jumping into a different part of the train and still kept getting killed. It was like, okay, I'm sitting in the middle because the front and the rear, it was killed in like the rear. Or no, he's like, I'm sitting in the rear in case I get killed. And so he gets clipped from the train gets clipped from the rear. And so it's like, okay, I'm sitting in the middle. And then the train goes through the middle. And then there was one time where, what was it? It was one of the other maps, and It was like he sat in his own carriage in the front of the PAX train, and yeah, it overrun a station, a signal, and then a train in the junction. No, pushed the wagon out into the junction. The train ran over at that wagon and him. You're an actual engineer, just never worked as one. Why is it always me? Classic. You signed the contract. Nice. Ah, the baddies are here. Support. Oral support spiders are here. Yeah, that should do something, hopefully. There it is. That's really thinking.
In fact, that's probably why Mojo and Will even invite me in the first place, because they know I'm incapable of dodging stuff with latency. I am doing great right now. Like, alright, good night, guys.
Dear. Actually, do you want to see the complete opposite of that? You need to see the complete opposite of it. I mean, we've already played it like several times already, but we've got to play it again. Hang on. Like, it's a complete opposite. Oh dear. Like, you go from Exterm, who just blunders straight into a train, and then Cat there, who you just somehow manages to dodge it, despite being in a track, like, constrained by track on water. You know, like, there's no room either side, and somehow still alive. Stuffed around. It pushes it somewhere on viable land. It won't place it on water. It loves to hug trains. That he does. Actually, speaking of this design, I never really saw the. I never actually saw. Oh, addressing that to Will. I never actually saw your upgraded one. I sort of did, but haven't really seen it. I actually do have a backup plan for this as well, and that is my main idea was to have it as a roll-through system, but one of my ideas is to have it share between the top and bottom as well. So if this doesn't work, another backup plan is to have duplicate this up the top, and then it's even more chaotic. What could possibly go wrong with that? I don't know how I'll do it, because I only sort of vaguely thought about it. It's yeah, it's a thing that is possible. Now. On a different level, they can conform to the grid. I'm pretty sure they can overlap it. Yeah, it's just an entity. But I'm pretty sure the game doesn't make it so it's impossible to retrieve the body. I mean, you could always test it. I also got the impression that That's that's a job for you. To round up all the trees. Yeah, I got the impression that there was actually a delivery here. It would also help if I actually finished designing this base too. Nope, no delivery. Yeah, I might need to divide it into segments. See the train she gave Intertooth? No, I haven't actually. I haven't seen. I have to see now. That's probably why you can't do that. Kind of wish there was a way to like duplicate these orders, copy and paste into each thingy. It's like hold down Control C. Take this, Control C it, and Control V it down there. That would be nice. 1,000 kilometers an hour. It's a little speedy. Little speedy boys. Right, what to do to make this work? Probably quite a bit. Where's the... oh. Rescue these bots first. On top of this design, I did have another idea as well, where it was more sort of a... One word be organic, but it's more of a chaotic mess of yards and thoroughfares. Very much a sprawling mess. You know how the mod works? Which one? I actually kind of want to see this train mod now. Although there have been quite a few. Or is this one that just scales the speed, or is it just simple? Oh yeah, I still haven't done that. I haven't had much of a chance to sit down and figure out how it works. Fortunately, I need to set up a test map and just play around with it. Fortunately, time is a premium. I mean, I've even got the wiring sorted out. Modify the file for put the max speed is cargo locomotive and the cargo wagon, full wagon 3 instead of 1.5. There was a it reminded me of a mod that Clown likes, which adds similar. It adds a new train specifically that has some stupid speed attached to it. As I was sort of alluding to, is that there's nothing actually stopping you from just editing the existing things. You know, just add speed. I don't remember the you could attach not the speed, the braking. You could add a speed bonus, a fuel speed bonus or something. Was to the braking research. Is it there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can add a speed bonus to that. I don't remember though. Not that. Even listed here? Can't do it. It's been so long since I've looked at the API. I don't remember most of it anymore. Oh, hello. You're completely full up.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
Hey, forever. You committed now. The voice said so. Alrighty. Now it's danger time. Trains are free. Or the supply train is free to come in. Oh, that's right. I was going to add multiple supply trains. That's what I was going to do. Down you go. Choppity chop you. That way you don't get thingied. Ah, chance to. Okay, that's done. No, I can't because it's not range. This thing's so stupid. Have I said that once, at least once before already? No, do not. I'll figure it out later. I don't need the wire there, so I can work up, so I can get rid of it, but I can't at the minute. On there. Oh, they're building track. Okay then. Works for me. Alright. Rest. Why are you sort of half sitting there? Interesting. Oh, you might have briefly seen a thingy let you out. I might do that as before. If I stand not should probably put the slit further up so the base can build it. Or I could just put roboports further down. Either works. What happened to them in that? Apart from that, they're grinding away. Few gigawatts. I think most of it is going into fuel anyway.
Another visitor. Stay a while.
And
Stay forever.
Hobgoblin sliding on in. Reddit introduced changes the pricing of their API. Their apps say they'll not be able to pay 24 cents per 1,000 API calls. Just to say if API is called correctly, it will turn for third-party apps to less than $1 the cost of a third-party app user. Oh, is that? Is this the Reddit stuff that I've been hearing something about recently? Something had been going on and I didn't know what it was. I imagine that's what it is. at slightly more. Because I'm kind of tired of these bots constantly being thrown in the bin. What do you have? Good. Got 200. Yeah, back to 152. There, 150. Charging. Reddit's stuff about charging third parties over 20 times what they would earn. I just used the Reddit app. So, I probably don't understand the whole API situation. So what is this? The... Protest comes after developers of several third-party Reddit apps have said the future of their service has been threatened by companies' new pricing. So, like, what even is a third-party... What does a third-party Reddit app even do? That's... It just raises so many questions. New API changes should be affordable if third-party apps are more efficient with API calls they make. Not surprising. They're basically just clobbering it because they're lazy, I suspect. Or that's the translation of what they're saying there, is it wouldn't be a problem if they weren't lazy. Developers who were not lazy, where is the thought? Apollo was less efficient than its peers and at times has been excessive. Probably because it's been free to do so. Savage. Okay, so they just re-implement what the Reddit first-party app does. Okay, mod tools and such. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, yada yada yada, stuff and junk. Yeah, those. I mean, yeah, Dark Mad Kitties, hello. Time no see. What was I rambling about? I don't remember. What's going on? Oh, that's right, 150. Good. How is the sleepy answer? I mean, it was fine earlier, but now I'm starting to fade. Saying earlier that there's for work there's stuff that I need to get done without fail by Friday, which means this week's going to be a long week. Yeah, it's 9:30 currently. Trouble is that go to bed at like 10, go to sleep at like 10:30 to 11, or actually is packing up stuff to do and then bed at like 10:30, 11. Should be logistic. 5, 4, 2, 3, 4. Gotta have a nice round number. There we go. 66 construct. 113. D and 50. Take away that many. Off by 1. The literal off by 1. Basically always sleep pretty much. I mean, I am up at 5:45 generally, most days. Apparently you've been visited by the delivery fairy. What do you- It's the one thing that I missed. Well, it's more than one thing that I missed. Um, that's fine. You do get a few at least as channel emotes. I need to check those again. I was looking at emotes before and I didn't. Kind of forgot about that because I did rearrange them. Okay. Now there should be nothing in your, no junk in your trunk. Money's getting tight everywhere, it seems. I don't remember if they actually changed the uh thingies. Where the hell put it in a weird place. Oh no, there's a third follower slot. I sort of have this thingy manager. I don't know, what do we want for now that I've just blundered over there? What do we want for the third one? For the third follower. So there's a wave, there's a hype. Do we want the one job? Or the sip? Snug? Or the lurk? They're all pretty good options. Blind? Heart. Oh yeah, that's a good one. The heart or the snug. I mean, I'm partial to the snug one. Uh, oh, there's it there. Ah, I hit the DPI button. Now the cursor's moving like, if I hit the button again. So slow. Okay. Oh, there's actually more than that. Apparently. I don't want to go too nuts. Adding adding the free ones in. Imagine you're a snack bar. How much would you charge for delivery service for placing orders? Surely not 20 times the profit of people coming for you. Yeah. Going back to the Reddit thing. It's actually funny that they've been talking about they're saying that they just be more efficient with the API calls. I think they also it sort of suggested that they kind of box themselves into a corner, or back themselves into a corner with the API. Instead of just relying on making their app good, add the API and all that, and everyone else has just made a better Reddit than Reddit did. They're salty apps. Say. Ah. It reminded me, actually, I don't get to see Zine much these days. I don't get to see anyone these days. Efficiency with APIs is a thing. Yeah, like, can't just hammer a query and not expect there to be a cost associated with it. Bonus can, how you doing? Hello. The stuff that I do with AWS, you've got to be mindful of not doing too many queries at once. Not stacking up too many queries at a time. That. Okay, now we're just taking the piss. So we're talking before with the music. This is a station called VHS, which is meant to be inspired by the 80s. This is not even close. This is not even trying. For example, oh yeah, we were talking about the efficiency. For example, someone might want to make a request every 5 seconds. Yeah, to fetch changes if you given voice, where it's better to use webhooks, which calls your app instead of when a change happens. So 2016, it is, isn't it? It really is. API fails, exponential backoff. Yep. Yeah, so basically it's being intelligent. Instead of just blindly polling the thing you want to know about, is you have a hook that that tells you when it changes instead of just doing a dumb polling. It actually sounds like that's the direction they probably should be going, is yeah, rate limiting, something like rate limiting, assuming that they don't do that already. Some kind of dynamic rate limiting. And I mean, do they even offer, that's the other question, is do they even offer that kind of hooks, or do you have to blindly do dumb queries constantly? Pub sub? Pretty much, yes. Hey, pretty much it is. Literally that. Although when you say pub sub, it gives me flashbacks to me trying to make MQTT go. And it's all about the publisher subscriber model. Possibly a little bit too enthusiastic on publisher subscriber. Moderate a subreddit. Do you have to query constantly or only when something changes? I imagine it's only when something changes. Would make a lot of sense. Yeah, you don't need to moderate if nothing's changing. I mean, there is potential for issues there too. If a lot of things, like if a bot appears and starts, or multiple bots appear, probably make more sense. You might have a lot of changes. I don't know how well Reddit manages that kind of thing. I imagine they've got that pretty well covered now. I should hope they've got it covered by now. Publisher subscriber model. Preemptive timeout. Yeah, Reddit's big enough that I imagine they should have sound sounds an awful lot like Gary Newman's Cars, or at least heavily inspired by. Yeah, I imagine that at the scale that they're at, they would have fairly robust anti-spam systems and anti-flood. Basically a CDN at this point. Should have something on 4chan would have. I mean, I imagine that they probably. I can't think of a case of it happening, but I imagine that they've at least suffered the wrath of 4chan at least once. I haven't even looked at Twitch's APIs. I don't know. I have a feeling that I probably am probably better off not looking. I have yeah, I have a feeling that ignorance is bliss in this case. Have that same feeling. I'm just anticipating Veldeck giving us some examples of the little nuggets of brilliance that the Twitch API brings us. I like that little stutter as the screen just turns off. Alright, now I've just sort of been mindlessly doing this stuff for like the last hour and a half. Alright, that stone there I think is a good candidate. Maybe not a good candidate. Not the most optimal candidate, but it's a candidate for connecting up. Alright, let's just make you do a big loop. Not the loop. Anything but the loop. Yes, it's the loop. Okay. Many versions, some old version announced to be deprecated, some suggested using a new version lacking features of the old. And it's not changing. I imagine it's yeah. It's trying to think of the term for it. They don't have release cycles so much as stuff just sort of appears out of nowhere. Didn't I have... What's the trains? Oh, there it is. And I can just bring the outpost train in. If I'm so inclined. Of course. Well, I have a lazier solution, and that is just to copy the blueprint of the stone outpost. That seems like a good idea. That can't possibly backfire in any way. It's just unfortunate that that track's not connected, so not much is going to happen right now. But at this point, it doesn't need to be disconnected. I mean, I do need to fix it eventually, but it doesn't need to be disconnected. Could do something like that. And regardless of what happens. Yeah, it's still the wrong... I haven't forgotten that it is still the wrong stacker to the left. We're out of track. That's why. I was like, why is this game stuttering so much? Is he building signals? Ah. Um. Seeing there. Oh, it's literally just here. Okay. Fine. That would also help get a train here, is actually having a train stop. Potentially also power might help. I don't have a way to craft those. I can craft a regular substation though. There we go. Now he has a train. Oops. When you open a URL, Google does a check where it strips everything and leaves only the path. Some third-party solutions, IT service management. Chrome did a change one day and it killed your internal application. Oh, only because it was poorly written. It was so badly implemented when someone opened one of the many API subpages that listed last 50 incidents or something belonging to the user's technical team. Oh, and it was, yeah. And also going back to what you said before, you have chat which works independently of the APIs. Yeah, you can't screw up, at this point, you can't screw up, IRC. I mean, it doesn't stop people from trying. I'm sure, given the opportunities, people could. But, yeah. There we go. Fortunately, because they're so stacked with work on the construction queue, train bots won't build things auto-magically. that much. Somehow. There's probably a better way to do that. Probably literally just do that and then down like that. Oh no. No, just never got the substations delivered apparently. So what were you saying? The part of the API and the devs didn't implement the default values for packing and paging and filtering. So basically, user in Chrome opened a page and they got what they needed. In the background, Chrome called URL without parameters. Our app server is directly translated to read all 2 million plus records from the database. Oh dear. That's yeah. System deaded very quickly. I imagine so. Doing that many queries all at once. Have a bad time. Yeah, that appears to be bringing the old substations, not the new ones. Some investigating of that. Alright, next step. We need one of you. You're going to make landfill, which is the first page. We're going to want to speed boost you up. I was like, I need power, but I don't have power because I have the substations being delivered. Apparently. Boop, kachoop. Loop. Go. And then the... So make that up. Oops. Underground, like that. And in it goes. Let's be keeping stone. Very useful. For example, Google has done it right. I use Google Workspace APIs to list users, rather than Google Drive. I imagine that they would spend the time to really get it right. At the end of the day. Trouble is, I'm gonna need to find the oh, you also don't need to crashing landfill as well. Please. Pretty please. Pretty please. Can we not trash the landfill? Please? Very kindly asking, begging even. Bye. Join the train. Yeah, it's been a good bit of progress. Mostly just been rambling on all that as I normally do. Ah, the train spilled over to there, apparently. But, yep, base is slowly coming together. I think maybe... Oh, hello, train. I don't know if it'll be next time or the time after. I'm not actually sure even when, or next time will be sometime later this week. But after that, I don't know when next time will be. Might be in 2 weeks' time. We'll see. But yeah, at some point need to go back to the creative and finish off the rest of the builds. Don't worry, you got 5 more minutes. Ah, I think I found that blueprint I was missing. Yep, there it is. Just randomly on the floor. What I said you have 5 more minutes. I have no idea where those warehouses are gone. Right. Otherwise, they might be like here. Again, you're not seeing a T signal. Okay, why is this in the last 5 minutes seeing a T signal all of a sudden? T rate output D. Or is it meant to be a D signal? It's somehow, at some point, thing is wrong. I have a feeling it's meant to be a D signal. Greater than 0, output D. It, D means it's, it should be OR anyway. Something weird is going on. Hi, train. It should be that. Oh. D. T. I'm really not sure. I'm still getting D of 2. But it should. It was globally. It was an OR, so it should have been both T and time or D. So yeah, don't know. I was gonna say the red one, but I don't think the red one would have trashed it. Where's the red one there? I mean, it did also go through. It has nothing in it, or kind of nothing in it. You start chopping trees again. Although I think most of the trees have timed out now. So I'm going to need to mark them all again. Oh no, there's match over there. Which will probably time out anyway. Hmm. Beep boop. A rail duck, you say? Oh. Ah. Yeah, I realized, I noticed the scroll bar and the downloader. Yeah. Also missing radar. Missing radar. Getting radar from. Probably somewhere there. That's getting stuff done. Alright, I think on... Oh, actually. It's coming back. Discord sounds the same for everyone. Aim for a simple message and a server read direct message at mention. I don't mind that. I legitimately don't mind that it's yeah, D is now 1 because it's saying, yeah, T is greater than 0 because there's a T signal saying something needs something. Oh, greater than equal to 2, that's why. I think I just realized what the problem is. Bye, train. So that sets the D at 1, and then... the inability to insert more items should turn on the other D. Damage alert on... Yeah, I definitely haven't had that happen. That's coming together. We'll soon come online and be able to use it. It's getting there. Anyway, for now though, I think it's time to end.